You don't know who I am, do you?
The Mafia didn't die with bullets. It died with dementia and spaghetti. In one of the Sopranos' most devastating moments,
You remember where your stash is? You let Uncle Pat know.
Tony finally confronts a withered Uncle Junior. Not for sentiment, of course, but for money. Always money. After an entire season of avoidance, Tony demands to know where the stash is hidden, only to discover that the once formidable capo isn't faking this time.
You don't know who I am, do you?
The sharp mind that once ruled over North Jersey with Johnny Boy has been replaced by the vacant fog of dementia.
You're my dad. You two ran North Jersey.
In a desperate final appeal, Tony evokes the sacred, this thing of ours. Junior's reply, a polite, pitiful shrug of cognitive decay. Well, that's nice. And that really is the whole show. Years of murder, betrayal, and posturing,
Made guy wouldn't be right.
all culminating in a confused old man in a psychiatric ward, muttering non sequiturs and clinging to fragments of a world that no longer exists. Not only is Junior's identity lost, but so is the legacy. The empire was built on blood, and the monument is memory.
You should just use the bedpan next time.
I'm not a cat. I don't shit in a box.
Without it, there's nothing left but bedpans and beige wallpaper. What was it all for? Dominic Chianese's performance is masterful, of course. His portrayal of dementia isn't just accurate, it's chilling. The dead-end phrases, the misplaced memories, the angry confusion, it's all painfully real. Nurses and memory care professionals have praised how spot-on his performance is, and it's easy to see why. His throwaway line, "Well, that's nice," lands like a hammer, precisely because it feels authentic. It's what a person says when they sense something important has just been said, but can't quite grasp what or why.
Well, you don't recognize me?
Junior, the man who once dreamed of leading the family, is reduced to recalling little more than playing catch with his nephew. That's the memory that clings, not a score, not a sit-down, not a hit, just a ball tossed in the yard. And that's the punchline of it all. After all the bloodshed and bravado, all he remembers is the boy, not the boss.
Someday soon, you're gonna have families of your own. And if you're lucky,
Meanwhile, Tony can't even recall the very speech he once gave AJ about cherishing life's small moments. Hypocrisy is hereditary in this family. It's poetic, really.
You may run North Jersey, but you don't run your Uncle Junior.
The pilot episode opens with Junior grumbling about playing catch with Tony. But rewatching it through the lens of their final scene, it becomes clear. He didn't resent the moment. He resented that the boy who once looked up to him now sees himself as superior. The insult wasn't about baseball. It was about pride. And yet, in his dementia, that pride is gone. In the end, Junior loved Tony. He just couldn't admit it until he'd lost the ability to say so. Tony, of course, is the show's greatest con artist, mostly to himself. He spends 6 seasons justifying his choices, blaming his mother, blaming the life, blaming the rules. But in the end, his empire is ash. His children are damaged. AJ a walking tragedy, Meadow pulled from noble aspirations into comfortable denial.
Carmela Speckhouse?
Carmela remains a prisoner with a closet full of shoes. His friends are dead, his enemies are dead, and the war he thought he was fighting was, like most mob wars, entirely pointless. So what is left? Just one final visit to a man who doesn't remember him and doesn't care. No respect, no legacy, just a forgotten name and an empty room. Junior has nothing left to give, and Tony, finally, nothing left to take. This is the ultimate indictment of the life. For all the posturing about honor, codes, and this thing of ours, it ends in silence and oblivion.
Uncle June's finally out of money.
The Sopranos strips away the romance of the gangster mythos frame by frame. It tells you what Michael Franzese and every regretful wise guy eventually admits. It's a miserable, paranoid existence built on sand. And even the sand won't remember you. There's a moment in The Irishman that mirrors this. Pesci and De Niro, drained of power, sit in quiet reflection on the absolute futility of their blood-soaked path.
And I deeply regret.
The glory fades, the fear lingers, the regrets remain. In that final scene with Junior, The Sopranos delivers its own haunting echo. Except here, the man doesn't even have the luxury of regret. He's forgotten how. And that perhaps is the cruelest end of all. Not death, but erasure. Not judgment, but indifference.
Well, that's nice.
That's nice, says Uncle Junior. The Mafia, the violence, the legacy, the myth, all of it. That's nice. Fade to black. If this breakdown meant something to you, consider liking or subscribing. It helps this work reach others who still think about scenes like this.